Hey everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. We're really excited to have you and that you clicked on our video to watch today. So today we're going to talk about the idea of NewDay Coaching, what we're about, what our mission statement and our vision statement is, and really just the story behind how we got here and how the idea came about. So I will let Rachel just go ahead and start us off because this originally all came from her. So Rachel, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with the statements? Do you want to start with the story? What are you thinking?
I'll start with our story first. This happened a couple years ago. My husband and I love to travel and take little mini vacations, and we decided to explore. We live in Western Washington, and we decided to go to Eastern Washington and just camp. And so we got to kind of an off, um, desolate, secluded area, and we were the only people there, and there was a gorgeous raging river, and so it was just awesome. Nobody was there. And so, dunked in the river and, played around and set up my hammock. And as I'm setting up the hammock, I start getting bitten by mosquitoes.
Oh no.
It took like 30 minutes, right? Like of freedom and just running around and having fun until they like smelled us and they're like, ooh. And since we were the only people there, boy, they decided to have a feast.
Yeah,
So,
a free for all.
oh man, and I mean, who likes mosquitoes? But I mean, we ended up camping for 4 days, and by day four, I was like,
Oh,
I need to go home right now. Right
understandably.
now. But yeah, so as I was setting up the hammock, we have a cool hammock that has a mosquito net like built into it. And it was funny because when I was first setting it up, I was joking to Josh. I was like, who needs this? Can we just even take it off, Thank goodness it's built in because as soon as that started happening, I just dove into it. And, I'm wide awake, but I'm stuck because, I mean, I did have, like natural mosquito repellent on, but it just forget about it. It was just they were out for blood.
Mhm.
So anyway, as I was just then deciding to enjoy the nice river and the trees and the smells of just being outside, my mind started to wander. And I've been working with children and families for a long time, and I really try hard not to take any of the stories, home with me, so to speak. Like I need to have my own separate personal life too, right? But as I was rocking, there were just certain themes, I think, that my brain just started to think about. And especially, I think as the years go by, I'm noticing more and more that families are having harder times. And whether that's because, they're not getting enough support from their own families, or, there's just a variety of reasons. But that was a big thing, right? Support. I don't feel that a lot of families have it. The second thing is, I get a lot of referrals from families that really don't know, like they don't know how their child's developing, or if they should be concerned or not, um, or or even then how to support their child in their development. And, in 15 years ago, these types of things weren't really considered skilled because they were things that a lot of families just learned, like generationally. They learned it from their parents, and then their parents, or, the generations would pass on the information, or the support team would be able to help. And I'm just finding that, I think of really, especially after COVID, it's just even been more magnetized, that more families are just feeling more isolated and unsupported, and there are delays that are starting to happen that might be not an organic delay, meaning that it's not the child who's unable or incapable of doing something, but it's that their environment's not set up to help them thrive. And families don't know that they're inadvertently doing that, right? They're
Right. Yeah. They're not getting the exposure that they need to develop
right.
in the time that we as professionals would expect them to.
Yeah, and then sometimes they will get some exposure, and because the child hasn't had the exposure, they have such a negative reaction to it. And then that stresses out the families, and then they don't want to do it, but then that's that cycle of that you don't do it, so then it gets worse every time it does, so there's just so much to unpack with that. But yeah, so as I was in the hammock then, I just started thinking, wouldn't it be cool if we used if I was able to, gather some of my friends who are also in the developmental, child development realm, and we were able to talk about and unpack, the average child's development, the typical child who just is born and coming into this wonderful world of ours, and how to support families, not just from I mean, originally I was thinking of just the communication aspect, but then as I was, rocking along, I thought, wouldn't it be even cooler if like I could get, other allied professionals so that families would understand more holistically the whole picture rather than just one little piece of it. A family would understand how all of these different aspects integrate and are woven together. And so that was how New Day was kind of conceived and born into the world.
Yeah. And I kind of knew the bits and pieces, but I didn't know the full story. So, here we are almost a year into working on this and planning and whatnot. And I'm learning new things. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, Amber, you've been an integral part for sure for so many different reasons. But just your professional, like just if we really want to just talk about from a motor perspective, and you and I are discovering together how important motor and communication, for example, are linked, and how easily woven. Motor motivates communication, right? And communication can be easily peppered into motor as well. So, and these are things that you and I are discovering as professionals in what we're doing. But because we're not professionals in each other's profession, right? We didn't really have that basis of knowledge and understanding. So I'm loving how much we're learning from each other and then how we're able to pass that on to families too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, working with, prior to the job that we have where we work together and doing New Day, I have co-treated with other allied professionals. I've co-treated both with OT and with speech language pathologists, but man, it's just this is so different, right? It's we are working together really consistently. We're talking back and forth so much. And I'm able to take everything that you're teaching me about communication and about feeding and all of the functional things that go along with that and put those things into my toolbox to amplify the kiddos that I'm seeing clinically or through telehealth. And, hopefully we'll be able to take all of this information and spread it to the masses so that it's not just the one kiddo that I'm seeing for 1 hour every Wednesday that's getting the benefit of these things. It's us teaching and sharing this information to parents so that parents can then do what we do because we see kids for an hour a week, maybe 2 hours a week, maybe 2 hours a month. But parents see kids, if you're working, you might you might interact with your kiddo maybe 3, 4 hours a day if you're working 5 days a week. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you're seeing them, or a stay-at-home dad, you are seeing them way more frequently. And even if you're working, you're seeing them way more frequently than we are as professionals. So we want to pass what we know on onto the people who are caring for these kids, right? And who are setting up the play environments and are setting up the activities so that the child is able to just thrive where they're at.
And another thing too, Amber, is that right now, if we get a child on caseload, well, that child already has been um, flagged, if you will, or recognized as a child that has a delay. And so that was the other thing, that when I was conceiving this, is that I wanted parents to be able to become their own child's expert so that they they could help raise their child in a way that would support them. So if the child is a typically developing child, the child can continue to typically develop. Um, Now, that's not to say that, as a child develops, that you won't recognize possible delays. And that's another thing that we hope to do as well, is to help give you enough information for you to make informed decisions and for you to feel confident in advocating for your child when you have a concern. And now with our course, you'll be able to go, here's exactly what my concern is, here's how old my child is, here's the window from when my child should be learning this to when I should be concerned, and that window is closed and I'm concerned. So here's how I'm going to advocate for my child to get to the next steps. We're not next step, we are ground zero. Here's information for you then to learn from and to apply it as you need to. If you end up meeting a skilled professional, we implore you to find that skilled professional. Um, and that's not the population that we are aiming to help serve. We're just wanting to help serve regular families that don't have, you know, um, any needs that are beyond the typical needs of a family.
Yeah, and that is, that's to say, unless you're in the area that we serve, then you may end up with us as your therapist. But those are different hats that we're wearing, right? Today we're wearing coaching hats, and in those other like private one-on-one sessions, then we're wearing our therapist and speech language pathologist hats. So respectively. And so that's the difference there, right? Like we as coaches are working towards giving parents the tools that they need to play purposefully, to learn how to sing songs to kiddos, to learn how to make crawling and cruising way more fun than just like, oh, hey, you pulled up to stand. Like, that's great. Great job. Like, no, we can do so much better than that. And that's really what we want to do.
Yeah, and as you're saying that too, Amber, it just lit up in my memory that, you know, what does quality tummy time look like? What does quality crawling look like, versus breezing through it in a week? Or, and why those things are important. So, um, as many of you know, the CDC took off crawling from its milestone list. And so what does that mean? Does that mean crawling is no longer important? Um, we want to help you unpack all that stuff
Yeah.
because we find it.
Spoiler alert. It is important.
Right. Yeah, and it can have potential long-term consequences. So, yeah, we're gonna put on our Sherlock Holmes hats and our little detective spy glasses or mic or magnifying glasses and really analyze and um, discuss like all of these different pieces and how the whole puzzle piece goes together. Another thing too, Amber, that I would love, that I am so excited about what we're creating, is that I think oftentimes, and it's not a fault of the person that you're going to, it's a fault of the system, right? Where if you go to somebody for a problem, this is the problem that they're looking at, this one little piece, because that's the problem. In my experience, that could be a symptom, but it doesn't necessarily reflect on the whole problem. So seeing it up close or myopically, and then also being able to take a step back and kind of having an overview to see how that really impacts everything else. And not only just how that might impact infanthood or toddlerhood or childhood, but how it might possibly impact a lifetime. It's
Mhm.
even I mean, bringing in, ACEs. There's the ACEs testing or screening, and they're just showing its adverse childhood experiences and how childhood experiences, they're showing now long term how those have health consequences. So I kind of want to just try to do the same thing for child development, especially because there are pieces that I think a lot of families, maybe it's challenging, right? Tummy time's super hard because the baby is upset about it. Why? Let's excavate. Let's excavate down to the reason, and let's kind of, we can give you some examples or some offerings or education about, like a checklist. Is all of these are all of these things working? And then you, as the parent and expert of your child, we'll investigate those and see, oh, is it this or is it that? Or could it possibly be this or that? And also knowing why tummy time, for example, is so important and how that can impact the development of all these other stages on top of it. So I'm so excited to be able to present this to the world because I don't think, yeah, it doesn't exist yet.
Yeah, not that we can find. And really, if you have to, like, if I have to step back and kind of think about, hey, Amber, what are you excited for about New Day? I'm really excited about the community portion that we're trying to bring into this, Rachel, because like I'm a very community-based person. I'm a military spouse, and so my community changes every 3 to 4 years. And it can be really hard, right? Because it's tough to say goodbye. A lot of times the community will change and we'll be here like a year or 2 years, and people that were sound for us are kind of, moving out and leaving. And it would be really, really easy if I weren't a community person to just like be a homebody and stay in my house and, just live my life in my own little bubble. But that's not how I was made. That's not my personality. I love being in community with people. And I don't just mean like saying hi and bye to the people that I see in the grocery store, or, to my, like, saying hi and bye to my neighbors whenever I see them go out to their car. Like, I'm a really deep, intentional, like actually want to know who you are and what makes you tick, and all of your problems and all of your joys and all of your successes. So I'm really excited to try to help to facilitate the community so that we can connect parents and caregivers with one another, because, and I know that this is a really cliche thing to say in today's world, but like we really are so connected as a society, way more connected than we ever have been in the history of the world, but we are also incredibly isolated. And I really think that that's part of the problem. I think that that's why we're seeing some of these delays in kiddos that we wouldn't typically see delays in, because there aren't things like play groups. Like parents and caregivers, for whatever reason, don't go out of their way to go to like mommy and me classes. Or maybe you live in a rural area and mommy and me classes aren't a thing, or like play groups aren't a thing, or you don't live close to family who have kids the same age as your kiddo. Like there's so many different variables, and for whatever reason the isolation is occurring for it. Like this community that we're hoping to build and to cultivate is hopefully going to be a problem fixer. Really, it's just going to be a really awesome way for parents who are struggling through the same things, or maybe are in the same life phase, are going to find each other and build a community together, whether it's online, or maybe some people meet and they find out that they're close in proximity. I don't know. Crazier things have happened, right? So I'm excited about the community aspect and getting to know the people who join the membership, and just coming alongside them where they're at and coaching them through whatever it is that they're going through.
Yeah, and Amber, you're just such a sweet-hearted person that I think yeah, you're just so kind in how you approach people, and um, what a gift. What a gift.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you.
One of the things that I see for the community as well is being able to, you know, have a cheerleading team
Mm-mm.
squad, for when you or your child overcomes something that is just a challenge, or even if it's not a challenge. Like, I think that's the other thing too, is I want to bring in more celebration and more fun for even stuff that's like maybe not viewed as a big deal. It is a
Mm-hmm.
big deal, right? So
Yeah,
I think,
absolutely. Like, my kiddo went 3 minutes in tummy time without crying today, instead of like crying as soon as I turned them over onto the floor. Like, that's huge.
huge.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, or you know what, even a mom that's not drinking enough water, and so, breastfeeding is going terribly, hey, I drank a whole, mason jar full.
Yeah,
Yippee!
that's great.
That
Yeah,
is a
you're influencing me.
huge drink yo water. Um, yeah, so that's the other thing is too, is I really feel that there's so much, I want to bring more levity, and I know you feel the same way, Amber. Like, let's figure out how to implement the community and ourselves with just joy and laughter, and let's get all those dopamine hits from, belly laughs, and just feel good. Like,
Yeah, and make parenting fun again, right? Like,
yes,
I think that there's just been a culture recently of, hit the ground running. It's what do they call it? The grind. Um, and you're just grinding away through every single day. And there's nothing fun and enjoyable about the grind. It's exhausting eventually. So let's make it fun again.
right. Yeah, let's take a minute to, I mean, again, here's the cliche, smell the roses. But oh my gosh, have
Mhm.
you actually gone out and smelled your roses? Like,
Right.
it's incredible.
Here's our mission statement. At NewDay Child Coaching, we support families by providing educational coaching that nurtures child development, enhances parent child bonding, and fosters family fun so that you and your infant can thrive instead of just survive.
Man, I love that last sentence. Like,
Mhm.
our time on this planet is finite. So we have a choice. Either we can figure out how to make it where we're thriving and having fun. And that's not to say any judgment if you're in that season of grind, because of whatever circumstances you have. Know that it is a season, right? I mean, this too shall pass. Things will get better. Things will move forward. And if you're needing more support, please get it. That's
Mhm.
my other thing. Like, there ain't no shame in asking for more help from either your friends, your family, or even professional help. I think it's a great gift that there's so many mental health professionals out there to help us, because I ain't perfect. I don't know about any of you, but I think it would be fun to, it's a blessing to be able to pay somebody to listen to something for an hour.
Mhm.
um and yeah, so I mean, I think that statement, Amber, really just reflects, what we want to offer. So we want to offer education. We want to offer, you know, how to help the bond. That's the other thing that's so magical about parenthood is your child loves you as you love your child more than anything else on this planet. And how beautiful to be able to support that attachment and that bonding, you know?
Mhm.
Um, and then to make it fun, it's interesting. Mr. Rogers talked about play and how play is, how a child learns. And I just want to expand that and say, boy, if everything was fun, wouldn't we all learn so much better?
Yeah.
You know? So that's what we hope to bring into this space too, is like, it doesn't have to be boring. We can all have personalities and be lighthearted, and um, belly laughs are good.
Yeah, they are. They're so good. They're like heartwarming. Good for the heart, good for the soul.
Yeah. Maybe wears your cheeks out a little bit, but it gives you a nice ab workout.
Sure does. Okay, so now we're going to talk about our vision statement. And for those of you who may not know the difference between a mission statement and a vision statement, I didn't. I had to Google it. A mission statement is really your elevator pitch, right? It's a 1 to 2 sentence phrase or wording that you just want to talk about. Hey, here's who we are. Here's what we want to do. A vision statement is a little bit longer. It really expands on the mission statement and it expands on here's who we are and here's what we want to do. So here's our vision statement. At NewDay Child Coaching, we envision a world where every family thrives through educational coaching that nurtures child development, strengthens parent-child bonds, and fosters joy and fun in the family dynamic. We aspire to create a future where families are empowered with the knowledge and support they need to grow together, where children reach their fullest potential, and where the love and connection between parents and children blossom, making each day brighter and more fulfilling. We are committed to providing parents with the tools and the knowledge they need to advocate for their child, ensuring they can seek and secure any extra support required and address any concerns with confidence and clarity. Through our dedication and innovative coaching methods, we aim to transform the experience of parenthood into a journey of thriving, vibrant family life.
Cool. Yeah. So if you have any questions about either our vision statement, our mission statement, anything that we've talked about today, please just leave us a little comment below. Hopefully you're already following us at NewDay Child Coaching on Instagram and Facebook. We've got a lot of conversation going on over there. And Amber is our incredible tech guru who posts beautiful posts that are super informative daily. So if there's a question that you have, scroll back. We might have actually already touched on it, or ask again. And we're happy to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you haven't already, if you enjoyed listening to our conversation today, whether you're a parent, you're an expecting parent, you're a planning parent, you might be a parent someday, you're a professional, or if you just liked our banter back and forth, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you're notified whenever we have more content posted. And we appreciate the support.
Yeah, and if you're a grand too, we forgot about grands.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We love grands. So if you're a grandparent and or an expecting grandparent and you want to pass along this information to your grandchild's parents, your kids or your in-laws, then go ahead and pass that along.
So much, everybody. Thank you for your time. From us here at NewDay.
Have a good day.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.